Hello, my friends, it's Mrs. Gorski back, and today we are going to be focused on subtraction clue words. We're also going to be doing subtraction story problems to reinforce these clue words. So basically, what we're going to do, let's just take a run through subtraction. Now, in a previous video, we did all addition. Now, we're going to do the exact opposite. So here's some subtraction ones. 8 takes difference. Now remember, difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. We have away, minus, left, that's a big one, loaned, spent, not, how many more, how many fewer, absent, used, melted. We also have these extras in here, which is the actual word subtract, and less. So a lot of these words, some of them you might already know, okay? Like minus, away, takes, left. Those are a lot of big ones that maybe you could have seen in first grade word problems, okay? So what we're going to do, we are now going to move into the actual word problems, and we're going to look for those clue words, and we're going to discuss strategies on how to solve. So stay tuned. Hello again, boys and girls. I'm back. Now, remember when we talked about doing word problems with addition? We read them 2 times, and I think it's always a really great strategy to make sure to read a word problem more than 1 time in order to remember what you're reading about. So here we go. Let's take a look. There were 19 acorns on the ground. A squirrel took 9 of them. How many are left? So let me read that one more time. There were 19 acorns on the ground. A squirrel took 9 of them. How many are left? So first things first, anytime I talk to my second graders, I like to say, where is that clue word? What is that word in this word problem that is going to tell me if I'm going to be adding or subtracting? So usually what I say, we find them in the question. Sometimes, though, they're found in the body of the actual word problem. Is it okay to have more than 1 clue word? Sure, you can. So let's first think about where we could find them. Let's take a look at the question. How many are left? So if you remember when we were just briefly talking about some of those options with subtraction clue words, left was one of them. Left is right here. So I am going to underline that in green. Now, thinking about when we were reading it 2 times, I also found another clue word that wasn't in the question, but it was in the second sentence. I wonder if you think you know what that is. I wonder if you're thinking took, because obviously the squirrel took them. He's not returning them in any way. So took and left, they're 2 really good subtraction clue words. So here we go. Since we're making subtraction, we have to develop a number sentence now. So notice how I have 19 and 9 both circled in red. They are our major numbers that we are going to be making into a subtraction number sentence. But when we're building that number sentence, it's really important when dealing with subtraction, we have to always begin with the larger number. When you're dealing with subtraction, we know we could talk about flip-flopping numbers, and it doesn't matter because you're still going to get the same sum, the same total at the end. But when you're dealing with subtraction, it doesn't go that way. So let's go ahead and make our number sentence. We're going to be starting with 19 because 19 is our bigger number. 19 minus 9 equals blank. Now notice how I also have the word acorns underlined twice. Remember, we are going to be making labels at the end of each number sentence. You're not only making a number as an answer, you're also making a label because that's all part of showing your work. So what is left? What should you be counting to see how many you have left of? Well, obviously, acorns. So we are going to put that at the end of this number sentence. So let's start talking about strategies. So since we talk about subtraction, we could talk about counting back. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So the first things first, I'm going to look at my hundreds chart, especially if you have a hundreds chart handy. I'm going to start on 19. I'm going to hop back how many? 9 in order to find what my difference is, what my answer is. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm ending on a 10. So my answer would be 10. Now maybe, like I said before, you might not have a hundreds chart handy. So what can you do? You can count back in your brain. So you could put 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. So then you would have 10 by simply counting, using your fingers as helpers, counting back in that sense. Now remember, when we were doing that addition strategy, we were drawing a picture of the smaller number. Sometimes when you're drawing pictures of larger numbers, it could cause an issue. You could be right. You might make a little mistake. So I always like to stick with the smaller one. So I'm going to make 9 circles. And that's going to also help me count back. So I'm going to put 19 in my brain, and I'm going to go 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. So we did it in 3 ways. We did it counting back on a hundreds chart. We did it counting back in our brain. And we also used a small picture in order to help us count back using that strategy too. So stay tuned. We have one more word problem. Hey, Mrs. Gorski's back. And we have our second word problem here. So I'm going to read it. The pumpkin pie had 8 slices. 6 slices were eaten. How many slices of pie are left? Let me read that again. The pumpkin pie had 8 slices. 6 slices were eaten. How many slices of pie are left? So, what are we going to do? Let's first talk about clue words. Let's take a look at our question. How many slices of pie are left? Well, in this one, we're going to be dealing with a very similar clue word that we did in the last one. So I wonder if you're saying, or if you figured it out already, it's left, definitely. Left is one of them. Now, if you were looking in the body of the word problem, there's also another clue word here too. So if you're looking in the second sentence where it says 6 slices were eaten, I would also say eaten would be another great form of a subtraction clue word. So we have eaten and left. Both of them are perfect. They could tell us that we're going to be subtracting. So now what I need to do is figure out what is going to be my number sentence. What am I going to be developing here? So in this case, I do have them circled. I actually have an actual numeral here. I have the number 8, but I also have the word 6. Sometimes you could have word problems that you will have one in a number form and another one in a word form, which is completely fine. You just have to, that's why I say you should be reading more than one time in order to make sure that you're finding that information. So here I have 8 minus, and I'm going to put it in a numeral form, 6 equals blank. So let's not also forget that we have that label. So I have slices underlined in red because that's what we're talking about. How many slices of pie are left? So we are going to find the answer, and it is going to be 4 slices. So now, 8 minus 6, a big difference from the 19 minus 9 that we just did. It's still a subtraction number sentence, no matter how hard or how easy it may be. So let's go ahead and let's solve it in the 3 ways that we did in our last one. So we have 8 minus 6. So I'm going to start with my 8, and then I'm going to hop back 6 on my hundreds chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to end on 2. So you would have 2 slices left. So let's go ahead. Remember, if you don't have something handy, you can use your brain as a helper and sometimes your fingers too. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. There it is. There's your 2. And let's go ahead and do our picture form. So even though 8 and 6 are kind of close, I also like just to stick with the smaller number. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and count back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. So again, we figured it out with 3 different strategies. We're still counting back. We're still subtracting. And we're finding our answers. We're making sure that we have the label. We have our numbers highlighted. Our clue words are found. You are going to be perfect with solving word problems. But also remember, please make sure you're reading them more than one time. All right, my friends, I will see you again soon. And don't forget, practice some word problems at home. They're very important. Talk to you soon.